Advocate podcast.
Such a beautiful
Hello.
day. How you
It
doing?
wasn't bad. Not too
Yeah.
bad. How about yourself? How's life?
I am doing okay.
That's good.
Yeah. It's not A-okay, but it's okay.
Oh,
I think that, yeah,
what's
it's the
bothering you?
kids.
Oh,
Kids.
got it.
Yeah, it's the kids, and they're getting older. The other one's starting to climb up the stairs and running face first into the walls
Heck
and
yeah.
getting bit by our dog because he won't leave him alone. But they got to learn. But at the same time, I don't know if I have the money and the finances available to be able to just keep supporting these kids from, hey, let's take them to urgent care. Let's do this. Let's do that. It's expensive, man. It's a lot of money.
It's
a lot of
ton.
patience. Yeah. And I'm sure you've had kids. You still
I've
have
had
them.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
still there.
You've had them. Still there. Are they asking for money or?
It does get better. There
Okay.
is going to be the initial post-investment after your basic investment of where they will kick around, stay around at your place. And it's, this is pretty nice. They get that right after high school. I got a job. I got no bills, but I got a car. I go to school again for college. And dad, I got to stay focused on school and work. So I just do that and blah. I'm like, see a lot of very expensive things coming through the house. And stuff that I know that it ain't cheap. I'm like, I know how much that is. And that was not
Oh,
cheap.
yeah.
Those AirPod
It's-
Max headphones.
Oh, they
I was
got
like,
those?
She got those. Yeah.
From what? Like a credit card or paid cash or what?
Oh, yeah. She paid for
Pay
it.
it later? Those
No,
later.
she got paid at work and she went and bought them.
Used a whole
Yeah.
paycheck on it or what?
Oh, paycheck.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, when I was working my first job, I worked at Toys R Us. Yeah, one paycheck really just kind of goes to, hey, let's go grab some food. And, oh, I got to fill up my Jeep Cherokee with some gas. And then the car insurance. And that's your
Yeah.
whole paycheck. It's
They don't know
everything.
about that though. They don't know about it. But
Yeah.
everyone's different. And you'll find that out when they get older, that some are just different than others. And that can be more expensive as well. But hey, what can you say?
Yeah, I guess it can always be worse.
Oh.
Right? So the topic for today, Ian, because, hey, kids are rough, man.
Kids
And
are rough.
I don't know. Should you have kids? I think that's the topic for today. I don't know, and I don't think that, in my opinion, I don't think everyone should have kids. See a lot of bad parents out there, right? You hear a lot about bad stuff about parents and kids being kids and just parents can't handle them. I get frustrated, but then you hear a lot of bad stuff on the news about these kids. And not only that, they're just so freaking expensive. And we broke it down somewhat of how expensive are they really, right?
Yeah.
And for me right now, it's I think things are fine. Just some context. I think living with family and being able to have my in-laws here, we're all living together, and nobody's mooching off of anybody because we all paid our mortgage, we sold our homes, and we moved in together, kind of like a multi-generational sort of home, right? And it's going pretty well. We all take turns taking care of the kids, and we have our time slots and calendars where we operate off of. But it's still really expensive, and it's going to be even more expensive for some of those that are maybe single parents.
Right.
And maybe there's some other things out there that can cause an issue. Maybe even you have kids that are born with disabilities. I'm fortunate enough to where my kids don't have any disabilities that I'm aware of. My daughter says, no, Owen, which is just her brother's name. And hey, get the hell. And she'll say it like 20 times. And sometimes, can you say something else other than that, please?
Not yet. But at least she figured out a way to get him out of the way. Just move on.
Communicate. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hitting him, right?
Go away.
Yeah.
Gabe, you are in the hottest time. When I say hottest time, the most expensive time. From birth to 5 years old. Each one is $145,000.
Each
Now,
one?
Yeah, and that's also including childcare, daycare, all those costs as well. Now, If you've got support and help, congratulations. You obviously have taken a huge hunk of that out. But for us that don't, that's what we're looking at. And it
Yeah,
just
it's
keeps, and then it just like slowly stays the same. For 6 to 12, it's
okay.
80 to 90,000 a year per
Okay,
child,
that's a whole salary.
right?
Okay.
So
If you're
you're starting
lucky.
to, if you're lucky,
Yeah.
but this is again with childcare is also in the mix. And then 13 to 18 years of age, and you're done legally, done. Those each years shrink just a little bit and go to 70,000 to 80,000 a year.
Still a salary. Okay.
Yeah. So grand total, you're going to
Yeah.
spend over $300,000 a year, or total for the
Oh,
lifetime or
for
something that you're
2 to 3
supposed to.
years. Okay.
So that's 300,000. Now just probably have to add maybe the same until they're moved out. I would say it starts getting less and less. So maybe it becomes more like 20,000 until they
Mm.
eventually just move out. So you have this your family with you, right? You got to try to think of the positives cuz
Yeah,
you've made the choice, my friend.
I did. Yeah, they were kind of planned. I can't say they were accidents, but I think a lot of kids often were accidents, I would say, right? I remember when I was talking with my buddies, we were messing around, having our pizza Friday nights and playing our games. And we were just talking about how, were you an accident? Were you planned? This is pre social media too. We're just fucking around, right? And out of my group of friends, only one of them was planned, or so he thinks. But now I think most kids at my age, a lot of the friends, a lot of my peers, they're I'm 36, 37. I forgot how old I am. But a
Okay.
lot of they're around the same age. They're in their late 30s, right? Like mid to late 30s. And they're having kids at that age. When my parents were like early 20s,
Yeah.
or sometimes you're 18, right out of high school, having kids. And what kind of money are you making at that point? If you're like right out, fresh out of high school, you're not making anything.
No.
You can't afford a kid. But at
Making
my
minimum
age,
wage.
yeah, at my age, I'm not working at Toys R Us anymore. I'm working somewhat of a big boy job. I
Congratulations.
thank you, and I'm able to afford some things here and there. I'm not making a ton of money, but I make enough money to be able to support some little hobbies here and there, and then the kids, if they don't hurt themselves, then I have to push those financial hobbies or those things I like to do monetarily. It's all right, cool. We're not going to go to Vegas this month because so and so decided to get hurt.
You go to Vegas every month?
No, we go as a family like maybe once a year.
Oh,
But
okay.
we didn't go this time around because the kids, which it makes sense. You don't want to go to Vegas with kids anyway. But at the same time, too, if I had an option to go to Vegas and have the kids babysat for maybe a day, I would totally go. We
There you
actually
go.
have, oh man, what's that one that's down the street? There's a casino down over here in the Inland Empire area. And that one's really cool. It's not that far. And you almost get the whole Vegas experience. I don't know if it's Pachanga. I can't remember. But yeah,
You might
anyway,
be
we
right.
can cut that. I might be right, but there's also two or three other ones. There's like
Hey, I'm just
Funner,
trying to give you some.
California. Yeah,
Oh, that's the
with
thing,
the
huh?
house. Yeah,
That's a Harrow,
I think
right?
it's a thing. It feels like a fever dream because it's just like it looks so cool and you hear about it, but I'm like I don't know anybody who's ever been or even talked
Might
about
never
Funner,
come
California.
back.
So I think the big one, like you mentioned, is that the 0 to 18 years,
Mm-hmm.
right? If we're spending about what is it, 0 to 18 is 300,000 or some shit like that,
And
right?
something else I failed to mention. That would be just everybody except California and
No,
New York. So that's just everybody else except the two big markets. So
of
you
course,
can
everything's
add
always more expensive here. Yeah.
exactly. So instead of it being 300,000, you might as well just say 450
Whew.
easily. Because you got gas, which is not the
Yeah.
same price, food, not the same price, cost of living, not the same price. Just keep going on and on. It's not the same. So
That's one
li-
kid we're talking
one
about.
kid, just
All
one.
right. So I have two kids. So what am I looking at again if I have two? Because everybody wants two. You don't want just one, right? Because you have one kid, they kind of grow up. They're all of a sudden they're kind of spoiled. They have all the toys and they want everything, and they become this little freak. Sorry for all those people
Dang.
who only have one child, but they just kind of grow up differently because they don't know how to share. They don't know how to share everything. And
Maybe
hey,
you
you
get a
gotta,
bulk rate. Maybe instead of
yeah,
it being like, 450, maybe it's 525 for two. It's like, hey,
for
it's better
two.
than a kick in the pants. Yeah. So maybe you get like a discount. But if you have more than that, oh, the discount gets getting deeper and deeper.
Oh, so you're thinking that the government should give us discounts?
No, I'm just saying, like, say if you have two kids going to go into childcare at the same time, right? They're
Okay,
not going to say,
yeah.
okay, they might give you a break and say, you got two kids, you're going to be doing it at this time or whatever. Here's this rate based on all this right here versus,
Yeah.
nope, it's just this flat rate, that's flat, then it better be a good deal.
That's what you think would happen. And then also too, I guess you do get a little bit of a discount when you have two kids because they would be sharing toys, they would be
Mhm.
sharing clothes, sharing food. So I guess you do kind of get a little bit of a bulk rate. But unfortunately for me, I have a boy and a girl. So I guess my boy's gonna be wearing some girl clothes. He gets a little bit older. Yeah.
You can mix and match just so you can say, like, hey, today we're going to pretend like we're in the 80s. So everything's going to be just very flamboyant. You are living it up in Scotland with your cute kilt.
Daddy, why am I wearing a sundress? Shh, it's a kilt. Grow
No,
up dresses.
it's a bathrobe. I don't know.
It's a bath. Yeah.
It's
They do this
casual
in
Monday.
Japan, okay? Yeah. Deal with it.
That's right.
Suck it up. You're lucky we didn't name you Sue.
But
Then you
see,
really would have gotten it. Yeah.
we haven't even gotten into the harsh truth, really, of all of this is say you've got two people that are trying to have kids and they're taking all the steps that they can. They're doing artificial insemination, they're doing surrogate and doing all these ways to be able to bring life into the earth because they want to be a parent, they want to be a mother and then be a father. Something really bad happens. For example, they are born with a disability, and majority of the times probably a intellectual disability. That also comes with a price. And just it's you got to lay it all out there, folks. It's not something you can just say it's going to be just roses the entire time as a parent because this is an experience that you want to have. You got to have the goods and you got to have the bads. You got to have the harsh realities that
Yeah.
you got something that you wanted, but that is your that's your child. And so life begins. But
Yeah.
it begins with in some cases a disadvantage, and it's unfortunate because now
Yeah.
that puts more stress on the parents, the grandparents, childcare, people.
Yeah.
So it affects more people than just one child. That also comes at a
It's got to be
cost.
expensive. Yeah, I was going to say that sounds expensive.
What do
So,
you think it costs?
ah, we talked about my kids being what about 300K
Yeah.
each? Like healthy kids, I guess we were talking about earlier. Healthy, but with some disabilities. I would
Mm-hmm.
say probably maybe I would say double that.
No,
Is that right?
close, but yet not so close.
More?
Say if they have a mild intellectual,
Okay.
it's 500,000 to 1.5 million to raise
Oh
them
wow.
for the lifetime.
Oh wow, for
Yeah.
a lifetime? Okay.
Yeah. Moderate, it's 1 to 2.5. People are like, what's the difference? I can't understand it. But mild intellectual is they're going to have their independence, but they're going to have to rely on certain things because they can hold on a job, but they're not going to be able to do a lot. So that goes along with just where it trickles off to. Now, moderate, that is partial independence. And that's,
Okay.
like I said, 1 to 2.5. And that just depends on where that gray area is. Now,
Moderate,
so
they can have jobs or they can support themselves in some way or no? Or that's
I don't,
mild.
that would be mild. There might
Okay.
be, like I said, there might be a small spectrum in that moderate piece where they might be able to, because it's
Yeah.
enough, but not enough to where it's going to it's going to affect anything.
Mhm.
So then
Wow.
severe. This one's huge because severe, it's just, there's no way. It's lifetime support. That's two to over $5 million just to be able to raise them and keep them going for the rest of their lives, natural lives.
Yeah, sometimes you have single families and kids, they just bring a lot of heartache and trauma and harsh times to where I would imagine when you're dealing with kids that just have disabilities, the likelihood of parents staying together is probably a lot lower. So all of that fiscal responsibility, all of a sudden it's like, where does that go? I'm sure they're not making, or they got to be making on average probably 50 to 60K each if you're lucky. Sometimes you're not making that much, but that's a okay salary to get by,
Right.
barely. Yeah, like a studio apartment, maybe not living with your family. You got the groceries and you got the car, and man, that just seems very impossible. Even right now for me in the situation I'm in, I feel I have it pretty good, I think, compared to that. And I'm struggling. So I really can't fathom that. That's insane. No, those analytics are definitely really scary. But I think at times we don't think about I don't think everyone always thinking what the financial responsibility is of having a kid. And I remember when you're going to be forced with your parents and your grandparents saying, "Oh, when are you going to have a little one?" Because to them, it's, "Hey, I did it. You can do it too." Typically, I remember when talking with my mother, where she's like, "Oh, when are you going to have kids?" I'm like, "I can't afford them. The job I'm working at the time, I can't afford kids." I'm glad I didn't have kids at that time because it was not even the partner I'm with today. So it's one of those things. It's like, I'm not ready. And her response was, "Oh, you don't have to worry about money." What does that mean? Don't worry about money. It's all I ever worry about is money. But it's just the kids are just a
Not
money
alone.
suck, right? Yeah. And some of the other harsh truths I think that some people don't think about is that most kids, because of the fiscal responsibility and what other disabilities there might be, not every child is going to have the same opportunities as other kids based on the parents' situation, right? I think that there are a lot of single parents out there. And if there weren't, Disney wouldn't be making movies about single families. Disney's biggest thing is always including just, oh, what happened to the other parent? Oh, they died. Oh, they fell off a cliff. Oh, we don't know.
Something
They just left.
dramatic.
And just one parent and one kid. And
Yeah.
now you have to pay for daycare. You have to pay for childcare because you have to go work. And maybe the grandparents aren't around. How do you do that? How do you get by? Because it's no longer a traditional family household. It sounds kind of cool because then my wife would make me dinner, but then I'd have to be a traditional husband and I'd have to work. So it doesn't
Bring
sound
home the
great.
money.
Bring home the money. Yeah. Hey, I brought home the bread. Let's slice it up and make some ham sandwiches. I think that traditional household, it's like now you have both parents working, but I think back then it was one parent was working and then you had one other parent that stood home and watched the kids. One salary and you have the daycare. Now you have two salaries and you still have the daycare, which the daycare is typically still the same one person's salary. So it's really just maybe the parent trying to get out and trying to do something with their lives and career. And I get that because that's what my wife and I do. And we have the support. But the harsh truth being that, like I said, not every child's going to have that same opportunity. Maybe that single parent, for example, one salary, one kid, all the other kids' friends are going to Chuck E. Cheese, and maybe that parent's, we can't afford that. We can't play the games, and the parent doesn't want to rely on maybe borrowing money or, hey, can we share the tokens? It's so hard to fathom that some kids would be left out of certain things, but that is just a harsh reality.
Speaking of harsh reality, it goes to even the education too. Who here went to public school? I did. How many fingers am I holding up? 10. Technically,
If you're
it's,
lucky.
yeah. Technically, it's 4 and 4. That's a thumb. Now, if you went to a private school where you had to pay for it, you would get some better education. You would get more research and technology pieces that you wouldn't have in a public school, not to that level. And in some cases, if you're blessed, we haven't even talked about that. If you're blessed with a gift, whether it's you're just flippin' smart, or you're great at chess, or you can just jump out of a stadium, or you can throw a ball 185 miles per hour and not break a sweat. Well, guess what? That'll get exploited and they'll do big and greater things. Then there's
Yeah.
us, the
Yeah.
average person that got the regular education. Here's the divider. Did you have to go straight to work, or did you go the other route? Did you go to school and did you do all that stuff? Or did you go into the military? So there's like all these avenues that you could go, whereas choose your own adventure.
Yeah. And
So,
for us, it's like when I was in high school, the military came to our school and said, "Hey, we want you." Like college recruiters coming to our school, it was the military. It's, hey, let's
but
give
you
these kids a
did
chance and
the
do.
best that you
Yeah.
could with what you got. And that's
Yeah.
the key phrase, is based on the hand that you're dealt, right? Maybe you're not living in the ritzy part of California. Heck,
Yeah.
maybe you're not even living in California. You're living in Wyoming because
I
that's
mean,
all you can
I
afford and
still
that's
gotta
all you know.
say, first
Hmm.
off, my mama said I was special. So when you're saying all that bullshit about how I'm not, it's not cool. California is probably the best place to live anyway. And I know a lot of people are gonna hate hearing that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
California, you got everything. Yeah, it's expensive because you see what we got. We got beaches, we got mountains, we got the desert, we got a forest. Come on,
Got
got hot
beaches.
springs, got everything. Yeah, beaches. I don't like the beach because hey,
Whoa,
we got the
whoa.
beach, we got the water.
Racial profiling, race does play a part in a lot of this too. In some cases, not so much. Everybody thinks that there is that cool card, and not so much.
Yeah,
Honestly,
to
it's
be a little honest too on that one, it's like when my kid was born a little light complected, I was like, he's gonna have a lot of opportunities. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I have more of a tan skin. I'm darker, right? Like I
mhm.
remember when I was working overnight and working early morning, and I would go to sleep during the day. I was like a vampire. I lost pigment in my skin. Like I was so light complected, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like one of them. And when my kid was born, light complected, I was just like, whoa, it's gonna be a lot of doors that open up there. And I know that sounds kind of bad and racist, but I think that's just the reality. It's like there's gonna be other opportunities. And I'm not saying that everybody gets to use those. And I know this is going off the rails here, but I'll make it quick. It's like depending on who they are and their nationality or their profiling, it's like obviously they're not gonna have the same opportunities there either. So you have two parents that are maybe immigrants that come over to the country and they have kids. It's like it's not going to be as fruitful as maybe parents that were already here that had kids. So that's a whole nother struggle too. And I'm not saying
Yep.
that kid wouldn't be light complected. It's not all immigrants are tan skin, right? That's not.
The language
There's a
barrier is going to be
language
huge
barrier.
because a
Yeah,
lot of
when
times they're not going to
I
come over and they're not going to learn English right off the bat, trying to get out of a place where it's
yeah,
just utter chaos, and they're
yep,
trying to seek refuge from their
yeah,
chaos. So
yeah,
there is that.
yeah. What's that called? Asylum?
That's what it was. Asylum, like
Is that what it is?
refuge.
Okay,
Well, basically, yeah, they're
refuge.
just trying to seek shelter in a safe place, basically, so they don't die.
Yeah.
And I believe
Well,
that's fair as long as they're here just abiding by the rules. But that's
yeah.
also something that people could feel different about.
I think that there's so much more to talk about on this topic. I
Yeah.
think that I keep going all over the place because there's so much to talk about.
We've
It's kind
just
of
scratched
juicy.
the
It's
surface,
fun.
man.
Yeah, we really just scratched the surface. That I really want to dig in and just kind of get some more information as to, yeah, let's bring some more analytics to the table. Let's talk about this because from an emotional standpoint, which I get emotional about these subjects, but I would really love to hear some of the data that's backed. Because some people say, yeah, this is true. This is what happens. And you find out, no, there's a very small minority that happens too. But yeah, let's talk more about this, have more conversations about this. And if you really like this episode, please and follow us down there. Yeah, down there. And we'll see you on the next one. And kids are not going to be for everybody. But remember, at the end of the day, everything's going to be A-okay.